Hi guys, how are you all doing? Welcome back to the channel, and well, another discussion video, another topic to talk about, and a big one. As someone who is a fan of this band, the earlier stuff anyway, it appears that Paramore are no more. If you go to any of their social medias right now and their website, you will see they're gone. They're down. Their Instagram's gone. Facebook's gone. Twitter's gone. Their official website is displaying an error 404 message. I've seen on Reddit and things, people think that it might be a bit of a marketing thing, but I can't see it. Also, there is proof that something has happened. So, Paramore were signed to Atlantic Records. They now no longer are. They have been released from their record deal, and Atlantic Records have stated that all three remaining members are now classed as free agents. So they are no longer under a label. So they can't be planning anything marketing-wise unless they've signed to someone else. But I haven't heard anything on that subject. And probably some of the labels they would go to, I work with. So there might have been something in the works or something, but you never know. But yes, the remaining three members, according to Atlantic Records, are no longer under a contract recording deal. So no more albums coming out with Atlantic, that's for sure. I mean, I can't see them needing any money right now. They're all three of them, definitely Hayley, are multi-millionaires from their success. They haven't shown any signs of slowing down either. I mean, I went and looked at the Spotify stats and things like that. They still have 20.5 million monthly listeners. So, they're still a band people love. They're still a band I love. They're still a band I listen to quite frequently. They're a band I've been into for absolutely years. Now, people I would not imagine on here would not know who Paramore are or where, maybe. But if for some strange reason you do not know who the hell I'm talking about, Paramore are/were an alternative, hard rocky kind of band, you could say. Definitely under the alternative genre more so. They were massively seen back in the days. You could probably say borderline emo, if you're that kind of thing. They were around that time when the huge emo age was a thing. And when there was the whole scene thing and scene kids, that were 100% they probably created that, to be fair. Definitely Hayley with her hair and stuff like that, which we'll go into in a little bit more. But just to give you some kind of idea and some stats and things of how big this band are. So 20,531,479 monthly listeners as of today's date. So seriously impressive Spotify figures. If you look at the listening numbers just per track, so Misery Business, one of probably their biggest track, if not one of them, sits at 730 million listens. You've got Still Into You, 698 million listens. That's what you get, which is an older song. I would have thought it had more, but still respectable at 254 million listens. Decode, again, thought this one would definitely be bigger just because it was on a film and stuff, and it is a huge track. You can put Decode on any time and people will know what that is, or majority people will anyway. 233 million listens. Now, not too long ago, it was definitely this year, they released their latest album. It was called This Is Why. And the two singles, I think it was two singles they released. So The News, which I've heard and didn't think much of, I'll be honest. 30 million listens, and This Is Why, the title track, at 76 million listens from this year. Still very, very respectable in terms of figures. But like I've said, the website is down. All the social medias are gone. They're all deactivated. And yeah, so Paramore, for those people who may not know who I'm talking about whatsoever, founded in 2004 in America. I believe it was in Tennessee. They were founded. Originally 5 members. So they had Hayley Williams on guitar, Jeremy on bass, Zach on drums, Josh on guitar. It might be the other way around. And they did have another guitarist, but he left soon after. But then rejoined when one of them left later on. And basically became the Paramore of today. At one point they were playing together, but for a very, very short time. There was rumours and all sorts going around that there was things going on with relationships, and Hayley was with most of them at one point. They were never proven. I'm not going to throw shade at them. I mean, I'm a fan. Still, I'm a fan. I've seen them live 4 times in the UK, all at the MEN Arena, with ex-girlfriends and cousins and things like that. I got disabled access one time with my cousin, and we got really, really near the front. It was pretty cool. Managed to just go straight in. She was on crutches. It was still an amazing gig. I think Yumi at 6 supported them then. I've seen Aiden support them, so massive, massive emo bands back from the day. But yeah, 2004, I discovered them with the song Emergency, which is still massive to this day. Their first EP, it wasn't an album, it was an EP they released, was All We Know Is Fallen. That was 2005. Come out the year after a couple of singles. They got pretty much overnight success, to be fair. Emergency was first, then Pressure came out, they just blew up, like they really did. And then it was 2000 and this is testing my Paramore knowledge now. 2007, I'm gonna say, was when Riot dropped, and that just blew up. Riot is probably their biggest album to date. It is the most probably recognisable album of theirs. It is what gave Hayley Williams her trademark look with the whole orange kind of crazy hair going on. I mean, that album to this day is still phenomenal. You could put that on from start to finish, and it is absolutely still gold to this day. You've got things like Misery Business on that album. You've got That's What You Get. You've got Hallelujah, When It Rains. Crush 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 is on that album, which is an amazing track. Fences is on there. Born for This is on there. And then there was a deluxe edition which did have a live version of Emergency on it. So absolutely unbelievable album. I'm trying to think if there was anything else on there. Was All I Wanted Is You? All I Wanted, was that on it? I think that was on it as well, which is phenomenal. But yeah, if you look at the size and magnitude of this band over the years, I mean, Hayley Williams was probably the biggest female vocalist in alternative music when Paramore were at their peak. She was huge. She was on the front of every Kerrang magazine. They did special limited edition Kerrang magazines where she was like a double page poster pullout. I know, they were on my wall. Hayley Williams back then was like, if you weren't into probably who was around at that time, Christina Scabia from Lacuna Coil was one of them at that time. Amy Lee from Evanescence. I'm just trying to think of like the poster pin-up kind of female artist at that time. Amy Lee is definitely one. Christina Scabia from Lacuna Coil is definitely another. But honestly, I think Hayley Williams is bigger than the pair of them. Like, just pure based on her out there look and what she did for alternative clothing as well, like the amount of probably pairs of Vans that were sold around that time, hair colours, hair dyes. I mean, in Liverpool alone, we've got a hair dye in place called Voodoo. They had pictures in their windows saying, get the Hayley Williams look, £75, whatever it is, plus dye. They're an American band, and their influence across the world was absolutely insane. They were probably the biggest alternative band around at that time. I mean, you look at the albums. I mean, obviously you got the first one, the EP. Riot was what blew them up, and that was what gave them their image, I suppose, and what catapulted Hayley into just another fucking world, I suppose. But yeah, I suppose, I think it was around 2010, 2009, 2010, shit started to happen. I know they kicked Josh out first, then Zach, it says they kicked them out. They left, but I don't think it was a friendly kind of, they didn't leave of their own accord. They were kind of like, I am leaving because, and there's so many rumours about what went round. Probably around then their sound started to change. I know they did go on a bit of a, we're not playing Misery Business anymore because of the lyrics, and then they started playing Misery Business again. But Hayley kind of branched off a little bit between 2010 and 11. I know they released another album, 2009, was Brand New Eyes, which was still a good album, to be fair. Still had the trademark Paramore sound, but did start to change a little bit. Hayley in between, It was 2010, 2011, and this just makes me feel really old now. She went off and did solo stuff, so she featured on Stay the Night with Zed, which was a fucking banger dance song. Really, really good. And, you know, Zed isn't stupid. Having someone of that magnitude and fame on a track, you're going to get all the alternative music fans coming over to listen to it, bringing new fans into the dance scene. Then she did Aeroplanes with B.O.B, I think it was. It wasn't will.i.am, it was B.O.B. And that blew up as well. That's still recognised to this day. Then there was... It was either the album or the hiatus. I'm going to say after that, the self-titled album came out, just Paramore. Then they went on hiatus for a bit. And then more legal shit kicked off. Yeah, so the album came out first. Then they went on a break. Then the Jeremy thing came out where he was trying to say that he was treated badly and that he should have had rights to certain songs. He was an original member, all that blah, 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 blah. Then they went quiet for a good few years. It was nearly 4 or 5 years after that. And that's when the sound completely changed. I'm going to say I'm trying to put dates together from when I saw them and remember songs coming out. 2015 to 2016, probably more into 2016, they had After Laughter, which is another album, and that featured the return of Zach, which is... he's the drummer? Yeah, he's the drummer, because it was Hayley, Jeremy came back after. It was Hayley, Josh, then Zach the drummer came back. There was 3 of them. Either way, something happened around there. So remember, there was only 3 of them. Then there was 4 of them again. Now there's only 3 of them again. But yeah, either way, one of the two. It was a long time ago. This is, like I say, it's really testing my Paramore knowledge right now. That album, I would probably say it was the start of their decline. In terms of just my personal opinion, I didn't enjoy that as much. Some tracks were okay, you know, Still Into You and things like that were good. But I know that after then, nothing until this year. Absolutely nothing, because I remember their interview with Zane Lowe, and they basically said, we took the time to kind of rediscover ourselves, and this is a band that have constantly reimagined themselves and constantly tried to go away, come back with a different sound. And for some bands it works. For Paramore it worked and it didn't. I mean, Hayley's got a very, very distinct voice. She's very good live, but it just wasn't, for me, it wasn't Paramore. It was different. It was more indie. It was like an indie sound. Than it was alternative, their old stuff kind of days. It was just a very mellowed down kind of indie, mainstream, radio friendly, that kind of stuff. They just tried to go for the radio plays, and it just didn't work. It really didn't. I mean, people liked it. The Spotify statistics say otherwise. They're always going to have a hardcore following, this band. They really are. I still listen to them to this day. Like I've said, their older stuff is absolutely phenomenal. Their older stuff probably shaped and changed the alternative music scene back in the early 2000s. They were that big, people. Like, they were selling out world tours in 20 minutes. Like, I know when I got my tickets a couple of times, it was a case of Ticketmaster, buy, refresh, sold out. They were huge. One of the biggest bands in alternative music. I don't think people realised just how big they were. At the height of their fame, they were untouchable. Really, really untouchable. And it's a shame. It's a shame to see the kind of collapse of them, because I think had they... I'm not going to, say I want riot after riot after riot, because you're never going to get that. They'll just burn out and people will get bored of it. But reimagine that album, try and change up the sound of that album a little bit. Keep the core in Paramore. Sounds so shit, but you know what I mean. Keep their core style, keep their core sound, because there's so many bands, so many bands that are now the new Paramore, that have got that old Paramore sound that people love, that have got the same makeup, the same female vocalist, the front woman, whatever you want to call it, just vocalist for the Karens out there. You know, it's stating the obvious. They're a vocalist and they're female. What else do you want to fucking call them? It's female vocalist, female front woman, vocalist, whatever. It's just the Paramore gave the female vocalist, band, front woman, genre, kind of whatever you want to call it, such a massive boost. Like, she was alternative music gold. As much as the band were the band, it was Hayley, and it always will be. You know, the band were very good. People that had the posters of guitarists and bassists and stuff like that, it was all the teenage boys going to see Hayley. That's what it was. And obviously the music, but she was the biggest. I think she won most attractive, you know, whatever it was the Kerrang magazine do every year. Like 3 years on the run. It was insane. And they're just gone. It would seem. I know Hayley branched off. She did try and do her own solo stuff. Not for me at all. Very weird. Very, very weird. I gave it a listen and thought, let's just bring back Paramore. They did. It didn't work. Atlantic seemed to have dropped them, and now they're just out in the wild. It's a shame. It really is a shame, but it can happen. The music industry is one of the most ruthless industries, as people know. You know, I'm close friends with musicians. I've got mates in bands. It will just eat you up and spit you out, this industry. It is brutal and violent. It's just, you know, you no longer fit this image. Fuck off, kind of deal. It's the same when you look at the mainstream thing. Look at X Factor. You can have the best vocalist in the world. If they haven't got the image, no one's interested. And it's fucking wrong, because it's talent at the end of the day. You know, you don't listen to someone's looks on an album. It's impossible. So why they would judge people on that, because ultimately record producers, record labels, for them, it's all about sales. It's all about record sales, numbers, streams, you know, that kind of stuff. So I don't get when you've got shows like the X Factor, which is, thank God, is being fucked off now, that judge people on image. I know there's an element of, you know, people, posters and pictures and billboards and stuff, but ultimately what it all boils down to at the end of the day is what comes out of those speakers. You can't hear an image. So, and Hayley had it all. She had the looks, she had the voice, she had the style, she had everything. And now it would just appear that, like, this video is probably going to be titled Paramore No More. So yeah, there we go. That was a test of my Paramore knowledge. Holy shit. I mean, I know my albums and my release dates and stuff like that, and that's why I want to start making these videos even more. But geez, that was like, was it that date? Was it them dates? There's probably going to be some Paramore superfan in the comments going, I think you'll find it was March the 2nd, 1990. No, that's a bit too old. March the 2nd, 2014, at 17 minutes past 3 that album came out, and I'll be like, holy shit. Fair enough. But yeah, as a kind of roundabout way, and to just end this video, they are responsible for so many bands. She was the world's #1 female vocalist at one point in time in alternative music. And it's sad to see that they've just gone woof, bang. You know, everyone peaks, I suppose, but they've had a hard fall, and it's such a shame. But there we go. I will leave it there. People, what do you think? Sound off in the comments. Were you a Paramore fan? Did you ever see them live? Have you got their albums? Do you still listen to them? Let me know. And yeah, I will see you all on the next video. So thanks for watching. Take care, and I will see you all very soon. Bye for now.